Hello, and welcome to Educating Geeks, the podcast where geeks help geeks discover new passions. I'm geek host Megan, and with me we have...
Alice.
And Cassie.
And today we're talking about Stargate SG1 Season 1. Yay! Cassie and I are so excited! So excited.
The show encapsulates our high school experience.
Middle school, high school, college.
Yeah, college. And we were in separate parts of the world in some of it, but we discovered that we were each
It's how we bonded.
fans. Exactly.
It's how we bonded.
It's totally how we bonded.
And yes, we're educating Alice.
Yes, I never watched the show. I don't know why. When was it on originally?
1999? Oh, no.
Yeah.
97. What else was on then? Do we know?
X-Files.
X-Files,
Okay.
Star Trek, Deep Space Nine / Next Gen.
Right, so this was on the same time Babylon 5 was on.
Likely.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
it was on Showtime.
It was on, yes, it was on Showtime. It
okay.
started out on Showtime at least. How many seasons was it on Showtime?
5.
5.
And then Sci-Fi, formerly SCIFI.
Yes,
So
the way
it-
it's supposed
The
to
way
be
it's
spelled.
supposed to be spelled.
Before it was Sifi.
Yes, sweet. So I probably didn't watch it, one, because I was watching X-Files and Next Gen / Deep Space Nine. Yeah, so at that point I think I was out of the house and on my own and probably couldn't afford to pay for cable, so I probably didn't watch Showtime.
Well, and for me, the only reason that I got to watch it is because I was living overseas when it came out. I was living in, this was when my dad was stationed in Germany, and so it aired on the BBC. BBC picked it up. It wasn't on any of those paid subscription channels in England, so I just got to watch it. If we had been living in the States, I don't think I would have got to see it. But because the English are awesome, I got to watch Stargate, and it was pretty much the only thing in my life for a long time.
Wow.
Same. And actually, I didn't start watching when it was on Showtime. I was super into X-Files at the time. And I remember distinctly on Saturday nights, X-Files and Stargate would air really late.
Mm.
So I'd have to stay up through Stargate. So I'd watch Stargate begrudgingly so I could stay up to watch the X-Files. But then I would always fall asleep at the end of Stargate. And wake up to the closing credits of the X-Files. I was always really pissed. I don't even really want to watch Stargate. And then I really started paying attention to it when it was on Sci-Fi. When Sci-Fi picked it up, they got the rights to all of the episodes.
You're welcome.
Exactly.
I was part of that letter writing campaign. I sent in tissue boxes. I would have sent in Jaffa cakes. All the Australian people out there that sent in Jaffa cakes, you guys are
Good job.
awesome. Yeah, I was jealous.
Definitely mobilized fan base. One of the best examples of a fan base that banded together and sent a very clear message to a network. So.
And it worked out, right? Because it remained a really successful, lucrative show.
For 5 more seasons, and then they got 2 spin-offs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that, at the time, we talked about this in another episode, that, Farscape was on Sci-Fi, and that was kind of like their only original program. But I think that Sci-Fi probably owes a lot of their original programming success to Stargate, because it kind of helped them establish. At one point, they had Stargate and its spin-off, Stargate Atlantis, and Battlestar Galactica, and I think a couple other attempts too. So they actually had a true slate of original programming that was really, I think, bolstered by Stargate.
That wasn't a cheesy movie.
Right, wasn't a cheesy movie.
So I was surprised in my usual way. I don't know why I assume I'm going to dislike something when I start watching it. But I was really amazed at how quickly I took to Stargate 1 and how really well written I thought the show was. And
it is really well written.
How I had an immediate affinity for most of the characters. I mean, I was really surprised at how quickly I took to the show.
It's groan-inducing cheesy at times, but that's almost one of the best things about it.
Well, I feel like it's earnest.
Yes.
There's some earnest aspects of it that make it okay.
Well, and I hate to say it, but I think almost all sci-fi shows that I love have an element of cheesiness to them.
Well, that's kind
You know
of
what I
makes,
mean?
Yeah.
Who wants to watch? I mean, well, Battlestar Galactica aside, but even that had a couple of chuckle-worthy moments.
Come on.
Or
Or
wants
camp.
to watch something. Yeah.
Or camp.
Who wants to watch something that's just way too serious? Come on.
Yeah.
And
that's what they were known for the longest time, is a sci-fi show that didn't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And they that was sort of their banner.
Yeah.
That they wore with pride.
And I would also say, because remember on the Fringe episode, really, Anna Torv, did I say that correctly? And her character, for me, being, one of the things I really loved about her is because she's the most believable FBI or police woman on television ever, because she wears sensible shoes and, does all that kind of stuff. And one of the things I love about the show, and I think the fact that it's a military show almost saves them in some ways, because really for the most part, they just wear their uniforms.
Yeah.
Right? Which I think saves them from a costume perspective, and pulling out Captain Carter, as a woman, because she's just in the same uniform as everybody else is. Mm-hmm. But again, I love that there isn't any, except for a few exception episodes that I'm sure we'll talk about. There isn't anything about the show that calls her out as a woman separately from just what her normal duties are and what she's doing on the show. They don't go out of their way to say, look, there's a woman on the show. Look, there's a woman on the show.
And Dr. Frasier is kind of the same way, because they bring in a female doctor, and she is
awesome. Without any fanfare, too.
Yeah.
It's like, here she is.
Yeah.
Dr. Frasier.
And that's one of the things, and we'll definitely talk more about it when we get to some specific episodes.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So did either of you guys watch the movie? Because I loved the movie.
I did watch the movie, but I didn't rewatch the movie
before
starting season 1. But I do remember liking the film when it came out.
I didn't see it in its entirety ever. And I meant to look at it at some point or watch it just to compare. Because my frame of reference was with the series, I didn't want to compare, Kurt Russell's interpretation of Jack versus Richard Dean Anderson's, or James Spader's versus...
You've really got to watch it. You've really got to watch it. Yeah, okay, so I love the movie, and I had seen the movie probably dozens of times before I started watching the show. So as soon as I heard they were making a TV show, I was like, yes. Like, all the way, 100% yes. And the tone is very different. But it works. I want to put this out there. Is Stargate the best film to TV transition ever?
Question mark.
Question mark.
I would
talk
certainly
amongst
say
yourselves.
Yes.
Discuss.
I would say yes, because they took something that was actually really serious and turned it into this great, fun, campy, semi-serious thing. But I love Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is great in the movie. I love James Spader. James Spader is great in the movie. And then Michael Shanks comes in the pilot, and he does the most hilarious impression of James Spader as Daniel Jackson. And then within 3 episodes or so, he's totally taken over the role.
Yeah.
But, Richard Dean Anderson being MacGyver, he's so recognizable. He was just like, I'm just going to play Jack however I want to play Jack.
Completely different, I think.
Well, and there's the joke on the show, which I don't think we got to in season 1. There's a running joke on the show, that there is a different Colonel O'Neill out there.
Oh, yeah.
In the movie, they spelled it with 1 L.
Right.
So every time Jack is like, it's 2 L's. They're really differentiating.
I wondered if
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm almost done with season 2. Maybe it's in season 2, but I've already heard the first reference.
That joke,
I've heard the first reference.
It crops up a couple of times.
Not too much, but I remember thinking, what is that referring to?
Yes, in the movie, it's 1 L, and that's Kurt Russell's version. Who doesn't love Kurt Russell? Who doesn't love a good Kurt Russell movie?
Kurt Russell. I just, again, when I found Stargate, when I truly found it for what it was and embraced it, that was all I knew, and that was all I cared about. And knowing that there was no Teal'c, there was no Carter in the movie, I was like, I don't want to.
You'll be fine, because Daniel and Jack are awesome,
and they kept the same actor who played Scar, right?
Yes, Alexis Cruz, who's adorable, and I love him.
Well, so we've talked. So this is another thing for me that we've talked about in the past, which is my sister's Monster of the Week versus Cancer Man. And for me, this show is very much Monster of the Week.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes it so good.
I'm sorry, I like shows that have an overarching story arc, and they have the search for Sha'Ray and the search for Scar.
Yeah, but it's not the focus of the show.
But it's not. They really are one-off episodes, very self-contained.
The focus of the show is exploring the universe and finding all those crazy Egyptians that they took off of the planet and seeded the galaxy with. Yeah. And I am totally okay with that. Usually I'm like you, I want a big story, but the show is better just being...
Well, I don't know if it's better because I don't know what it would have been like if they had added in one storyline that was overarching, that was clear. But I do enjoy it for what it is. I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad, but...
I have to say I like the quad. I like the team.
Yes.
And I feel like that more than anything, and they talked about this when they were, still doing the show. They talked about it often about how the four of them just hit it off so well, and the chemistry between them just worked. And I feel like that carried and kind of transcended any maybe story flaws or things that weren't quite as good as they could have been, because the team, those four actors just worked so well together.
Such a great team.
All right, so I'm going to put you Stargate fans on the spot. You have to order them favorite to least favorite.
Oh my god.
I can do it.
Okay, go.
Carter, Jack, Teal'c, Daniel.
Oh, okay.
Although I found a new love for Daniel watching again, several years older than I was, and with some separation from the characters. Daniel in season 1 was quite likable. Not just funny, just dry.
Can I tie two of them?
No.
Damn it. Okay, it'd probably have to be Daniel, Carter, Teal'c, Jack.
Okay, now I have to process this more slowly than you guys. So Daniel, Carter, Teal'c, Jack. So Jack is low for both of you.
It's not that I don't love Jack. He's just not my favorite.
Jack was number 2, but he and Teal'c often switched spots. He would be 3 and 2.
Early on, I like Jack, but then his demeanor wears on me after a while.
Mm-hmm. You can see that.
Whereas both Carter and Teal'c, and I don't know why this would be. Maybe it's although Teal'c has a very, because Jack has a very obvious way of being, right? As does Daniel Jackson, right?
And that way is adorable.
Whereas Carter, although she obviously has her character is a well-defined, fully realized character, it's very not annoying, it's not smug, it's
She's
not
a real
whatever.
character.
She's a real character.
Yeah.
She's very straightforward and honest, and there isn't anything about her. And Teal'c, who I also is one of my favorite characters, although he does have a shtick almost.
Yeah.
Right.
The way that actor, who you guys are going to be able to tell me who that is.
Christopher Judge. Yeah.
He does such a beautiful job with it that he's, for me, again, I think Teal'c and Carter would be my top two.
And I think Teal'c, in the hands of a different actor, could have been a much more difficult character to play and to make sympathetic and to make believable. I mean, what a ridiculous character.
Yeah.
But he just brings something to the role of Teal'c that is just so perfect.
And when you consider that the actor himself is known for being very goofy and
Yeah,
funny and
happy-go-lucky.
you really realize that is acting. Because they're night and day.
He's not playing himself.
No.
Whereas you get the feeling that Jack's playing himself.
Right.
Well,
and I
he's being
feel
Richard
like
Dean Anderson.
I feel like that's often could be kind of a tangent, but when you've got a show where the lead actor is so well known and well defined as an actor, I feel like sometimes in these cases there's like some crazy leeway allowed where they're able to just play themselves. And
Well, how long is
Because-
MacGyver on?
I don't think it's crazy
I don't know if-
leeway. I don't know what to
it's-
call it, but I
well-
think that's endemic because we've talked about this before on the show too. When actors become so popular that you get that sense that they've gotten lazy. I don't know how to call it. Where
it's tough.
they're not stretching anymore. They're not
Right.
doing whatever. Whereas you don't know if what's her name again. You guys
Amanda
Tapping is playing herself or not because you haven't seen her for years and years and years and years and years, so you don't know.
right.
Well, and one of the things that I love about Amanda Tapping, I think she definitely is like acting in that role, and Cassandra even more so than I, but huge Amanda Tapping fans, the two of us. We've read and been to panels where she is speaking and heard her talk about the role. One of the things I always admired about her the most was that when she would get a script full of technobabble for Carter, she would research what she was talking about. She would buy books and go on the internet and do research so that when she said all of the stuff that was in the script, she would understand what Carter was saying. I mean, she wanted it to sound believable, and I just have to respect her so much for that. And she was at Phoenix Comic-Con this year, she was talking about how she actually sat down and did calculations for some of the technobabble that they had her do, and she's like, no, writers, this wouldn't mathematically work.
That's awesome.
And she was like all proud of herself for calculating it out, and they're just like, so just change it.
Yes. They did not care as much as she did in that moment. They didn't care.
Yeah.
But man, you gotta love her for that, and it made her dialogue just like that much more believable.
Yeah, she is one of the most believable characters on the show. I mean, she just seems so natural.
With one of the worst introductions
ever.
ever.
Man. Which she'll admit. I think she's admitted it constantly.
That she hated that scene.
And thankfully they worked on toning that down to what it became. But do you remember cringing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember being like 12 years old and cringing.
And the thing of it is as horrible of an introduction it is, she plays it as good as she could have.
She
She sells it as well as she can. So let's talk about the best worst episodes as you tweeted out.
Oh dang, I didn't see that. Best worst episodes?
Yes.
When she started to watch Hathor.
I was talking about Hathor.
Oh, best worst episode.
You know, I remember season 1 in particular, I think I've seen like 8,000 times. So I'm very familiar with all of the episodes in that season. I remember being younger and watching it and just cringing every time I'd watch that episode, but there's something about it that I just kept watching over and over and over again. And I think watching it this time, I finally realized what it is about that episode that I love so much. There's so much about that episode that I hate. And the Hathor character in particular is just god-awful. Yep. I really like the actress that plays Hathor, but she's just
the way she's
horrible.
presented.
I don't like it's very sexist and it's embarrassing. However, what is completely not embarrassing and 100% amazing awesome about that episode is the way that Carter is just instantly like, something is not right here. And I think on just about any other show, a lead female character that was in a situation like that would have just been like, I don't know what to do. This is really bad, and none of the men believe me. What am I supposed to do? But Carter is just like, shit's not right here. I'm getting the other ladies, and we're getting guns. And we are going to get to the bottom of this. She does not hesitate. She is immediately like, you're acting really weird. You're not listening to me. Something is really wrong.
And it wasn't written, nor was it played as if she was jealous of Hathor.
No, she wasn't.
Because had it been written that way, that
it would have been even worse.
Yeah. It would have been really bad.
Yeah. But she's just like, all right, I'm going to get out of I'm going to use all my military knowledge. I'm going to get out of here. And, you know, the scene with her and Frasier where they're locked up in the cell, and they're like, well, these guys are, I love the word they use, they're libidinous. Way to use big words, Stargate.
They're doctors.
They're libidinous, so let's take advantage of that. I would totally have done the same thing in that situation. And Punch. Sam just elbows that guy right in the face.
She doesn't even let him get close.
Nope. Fraser's over there
totally
making out with somebody.
Totally.
So you gotta give her credit for committing to that. But Sam is just like, elbow! Right in the face. Yep. She saves the day. She saves the damn day. And it's not even like it's an unusual thing.
Right.
She's just like,
well, in
take
the show,
charge.
by the time that episode comes around, you've totally fully accepted her as this very capable, you know, special ops, military, yada yada,
super
kind
smart,
of a person.
Super good. She's super smart. She's gorgeous. She's good with a gun. She's a good soldier. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted
and she has
to
a
be,
PhD.
And she has a PhD.
And she has a PhD.
I wanted to be Sam Carter when I grew up. And look at me now. You're not Sam Carter.
You're not totally grown up yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And there's no
hope.
Stargate program.
I know that is.
All of your skills would be put to no use.
This is like my ultimate goal in life was to join the SGC and to go through the Stargate.
Did you want to be on SG1 or like SG11 or SG7?
SG11 was a big one for me because they're a research team. But when I think I tweeted this too. I used to play by email RPGs. Those don't really exist anymore.
Thank God.
But
slowest moving RPG ever.
I was on a really active group though, and it was really good. But I was always a member of SG3.
Oh, they're another good one. But they were Marines.
They're the Marine unit, yeah. But we had some pretty awesome adventures on SG3, let me tell you.
Okay, I would just like to stop the podcast for a moment and say, oh my God, what the hell? Okay, I'm over it now. Okay.
Yeah, now you know the level of fandom of Cassandra and Megan.
Wow.
I mean, it was just like...
Wow.
That was my goal in life. This is why I didn't, like, pursue anything worthwhile in college. It was because there was no SGC.
No
I
need
couldn't
for
actually go through.
astrophysics
I
PhD.
couldn't actually go through the Stargate.
Oh
What am I going to do with my life now?
But I have to say that growing up, I thought Colorado Springs must have been the most awesome city ever.
I know,
without
right?
realizing it.
The other best worst episode from a female perspective is Emancipation.
That is the worst episode.
Well,
Terrible
I couldn't watch it.
episode.
I couldn't watch it.
First of all, the dress they put her in is hideous anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't even know what the fuck.
Yeah, it's not even like a cool Indian style.
No, it's just hideous.
bad.
It's poorly designed. But I do say the first moment when the guys do their dumb face, like, oh, she looks like a woman thing. I liked her. I was like, wow, that seems really real to me.
The response seemed real.
Yeah, when they get the dumb face on. But
I just hate everything about that episode.
yeah, it's
And
a
it
bad
was like
episode.
the third episode.
Yeah,
So
it
they
was.
were still working out the kinks.
Yeah. But by the end, again, I say that's one of the things I like about the show. And again, I think they're helped by the military nature of it, so they don't have to fight with the costuming. Again, most of the show, there's nothing that they call out about her being a woman. You know,
Yeah.
she's just a member of the team who's really fucking smart and kick-ass, and they just play her character, and they don't do anything about it.
I think that there were just so many things about that episode that didn't work, that they had a really good production staff that looked at it and said, this is not the direction we're going in.
And she thought, as an actor, she really had to, which actors do. They do discuss and beg and plead, and she has said that she really had to talk to the producers about how this character was going to continue to be defined, and thank God she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank God they listened.
Yes.
You know,
they were
because-
smart enough to...
Yeah. Well, and she's an awesome producer now. So,
And director.
Yep.
Okay, so with some of the things about the show that I do not like,
Okay.
they're small and probably minuscule.
No
No
need to mitigate because you're surrounded.
There are many things not great about
Yes.
Stargate,
Alice,
trust me.
Alice is terrified to say anything
I
negative
know,
about
I
the show.
am.
She's sandwiched between Stargate.
I know, she's totally in the middle right now.
I am. So I don't know if either of you watched Defiance, which is another sci-fi show.
I really
that's
want to
on.
watch that.
I saw the pilot.
So one of the things they do on that show, which is similar to what I'm about to say about Stargate. So in Stargate, I hate it when they cut to the establishing shot of the thing at Cheyenne
you
Mountain.
don't like the Cheyenne Mountain?
There's the entryway thing where they're like, yes, we're at the SGC now because I've shown you the establishing shot of the outside of Cheyenne Mountain. And they did the same thing in Defiance where they show you the shot of the mayor's building that she's in, and then you immediately cut to a scene where you're in her office.
That's
I'm
an
like,
old school tactic, though.
I know it is. I know it's been done forever, but I'm like, I know. I'm in the mayor's office. I watch the fucking show. I know where I am. I don't need the establishing shot.
But some people don't watch it regularly.
I know.
But I know what you mean. It's like,
I will-
at some point, it becomes like they're spoon feeding.
I will defend. I totally see where you're coming from. I will defend that just a smidgen because Cheyenne Mountain Complex is a real place. That's where is it? What is it? NORAD.
Yeah, NORAD.
That's where NORAD lives. That's actual footage that the United States Air Force gave to the show to use. So that's actually footage of Cheyenne Mountain, which is probably why they put it in there.
All the time.
Not necessary. I completely agree with you. But I remember every time we'd watch it, I'd be like, that's a real place. There is hope for me to go and work there one day and go through the Stargate.
You just go 30 floors down.
I know. Like, I'm going to break into Cheyenne Mountain one day.
And you're going to be disappointed.
She said that with a straight face.
She did,
I
absolutely.
totally did.
Like, I actually believe this.
That's what I'm gonna get arrested.
So the other thing I don't like about the show is the, in my opinion, too long reaction shot and too many of them.
There's a lot of
Because
that,
that's
yeah.
one of the things that eventually annoys me about Jack is they cut to his, well, right, we're on a podcast, so you're not going to be able to see what I'm going to do with my face, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I'll describe it.
Is they do his reaction shot, and he's always got one of his
What's happening? Oh,
things
no.
that he does with his face, you know? And it just, after a while, you're like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
And then they hold on it for a while.
Yeah, they just
As
go on
the
just
music
a
reaches the
smidgen.
crescendo.
Yeah.
And then...
And they're always, so he always has the thing that he does something weird with his face or his eyebrows. Samantha's is always deadpan, maybe just a little bit furrow of the brow, a little bit raising of the eyebrow, but pretty much straight face. You got Teal'c with the jaw muscles
always
just
clenching his jaw.
or
You
the
know he has
big down
TMJ
one.
now.
I know, right?
Right?
I was getting treated for TMJ at the time, so every time you see him clench his jaw, I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
You stop that right now.
And he, like, does it like crazy. It's like beep, 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 beep,
Yeah,
beep.
it's like undulating. And then Daniel Jackson, just
He's always got
sincere and just so sincere. Daniel Jackson is just
Those
so
blue eyes
sincere.
behind
Oh
the
my gosh.
spectacles.
And he really cares.
He cares.
Maybe that's why I
Always
don't mind the reaction shots, because I'm always looking at Daniel going,
He cares about me.
He cares
That's
about
right.
all of mankind.
he cares about
And
me.
all of the universe.
He's gonna leave Charé and marry me.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I have to say that I agree with you to some degree on those. There are some things, and I realized, and I hate to say anything negative about the music, because I know that the
They
individual...
had a hard time with the music.
Well, the individual who did the score was beloved. I can't think of his name right now, but I feel like it was very heavy-handed
Yep.
in the
The
season.
score.
Yeah, the score was very, like, we are telling the audience how to feel, and they will feel it. And it's good music, but it was just so overbearing.
Well, so much
yeah.
of the music is the soundtrack just ripped straight from the movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So, especially in like the first half dozen episodes, they almost didn't write any new music for the show.
Oh, wow.
It's
I
just
didn't
ripped
even
straight
realize.
from the movie.
That's why it feels limited, because I
Yes.
feel like there are only 3
They're
songs.
yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Dun-
And then there's the stupid one that's supposed to be like, for something that's like very
Like the-
jaunty. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I can say with having not watched season 1 or an episode of Stargate really in 5 years at all, that like that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, it stuck out to me
It's
too.
like, wow.
The fanfare that they do that gets you all riled up
Yeah.
is a good
That's
piece
okay.
of music, but it's not very sophisticated.
No, and I don't know if that gets better until maybe season 4 or 5.
It takes a while,
Yeah, because I feel like what we listened to in season 1, you probably heard again in season 2.
Yeah. It's
And
all
I don't
very
think
similar.
it gets it doesn't vary for a while.
I almost wonder if it was a budgetary issue.
But they had a freaking wormhole and tons of holographic situations where Richard Dean Anderson, again, with,
Which
like,
they could afford
which they
because
could
they
afford.
didn't pay for
Yeah.
music.
you know,
Alright.
so you know, Allison, for our listeners who haven't like watched the show, another joke was that whenever there was some sort of holographic special effect, Richard Dean Anderson would make sure to like swipe it with his hand or swipe it with his gun, which of course requires additional rendering because his hand's supposed to like affect the hologram.
Right, yeah.
So you will see that for until like they really had budgetary situations in like season 8. You'll see all sorts of fancy smancy
Stuff
vis
going on.
effects and special effects.
By the Hammer of Thor.
So what are some of your favorite season 1 episodes?
Well, I've called it the best worst episode.
Right, so
Hathor
Hathor.
is definitely up there.
Oh no.
And also at the bottom of the list. I don't know how that's possible, that it's at the
It
top
is.
and the bottom of
Still,
the list
It's
simultaneously.
all right.
I don't love the Broca Divide.
I love that one because when General Hammond all devolves, all he does is like drool.
Yes. Oh my god, that episode was like
It's kind of crazy. But that's the episode where Teal'c says, "What is an Oprah?"
What is an Oprah? What a
Yes,
terrible
that's
line.
a good one.
That's also
That's a good line.
That's
It's classic.
also the line where he says, "I am not Lucy."
Yes.
Yeah.
2 classic Stargate lines. in
Teal'c
one
has some of
episode.
the best one-liners.
He does.
Ooh, on Wikipedia,
I like Singularity.
Singularity's good. It looks like I didn't realize that Hart Hansen, the creator of Bones, wrote the Nox.
I like the Nox. Quark
Badass
is in that
Apophis.
episode.
Yes, Quark is
Quark.
in that.
Yes, he
episode,
is.
the
I
Nox,
noticed that.
Yeah.
I like their hair and stuff. I just
do too.
think as a
Oh, and I
people,
did
they're
mention this before, but I do actually very much. I don't know if Richard Dean Anderson was in the military, but he knows how to salute. Because I
does.
hate
Good
shows
saluter.
when people are in the military and they salute like this, or like this, or like this, or whatever. There's a very specific way you are supposed to salute.
Lateral.
It's down so that you can't see, and your thumb has to be tucked
Yeah.
right at the corner of the eye. There's a very specific way that you're trained to do it. And I hate it when people don't do it right. Oh my God, I have another thing.
You have another thing.
But Richard Dean Anderson does it perfectly.
Sam's got a pretty good salute. It's not necessarily regulation, but
It's good. No, it's good.
Yeah.
And it got better.
Yes, it
So
did.
I
Well,
admire that.
I don't know how early on they hired them, but they got a really good Air Force advisor. Like, he's actually a retired colonel.
Oh, okay.
And he was on set.
And I do,
constantly.
okay, so bit characters. I actually really love Hammond.
I do too.
He's so
I
endearing.
really
I
love
love
him.
General. I was going to stop the show so we could talk about General Hammond. Because
Yeah,
I love him.
I love him, and the characterization that actor develops for that character, to me, is just so endearing.
Yeah.
He's like hard as nails, and he is a military man, so he does the orders, but he has that, that compassion and that caring and that listening to his senior officers thing. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just love the way that he plays that character.
I
Yeah.
love in the episode, I just watched it recently, it was the one where, not Samuels, the other asshat,
Not Samuel's.
Colonel
Melbourne.
Colonel Mayborn.
Mayborn.
Yeah.
So yes,
Mayborn.
so
I
Colonel
forgot he was
Mayborn
into
comes
this.
and
Yeah.
he's like, I've got orders from the president. And General Hammond is like, well, so do I. Why don't you go to the guest quarters? And Mayborn's like, no, I think I'm all right. And Hammond's all like, that was not a suggestion. It was an
Yes.
order, Colonel. I love it. I love it. And Don Davis, he is also in Twin Peaks, where he played an Air Force officer. That's General Hammond.
Oh, okay.
Now I need to look it up.
Watch
Gotcha.
Twin Peaks. You'll see General Hammond kind of in his infancy stages.
Nice.
So the other character I love, who I notice is not in season 2, is the older white hair guy who sits at the computer. Incoming traveler.
No, that's
You know,
Walter. Walter's always there.
No, at the end there's some young guy in season 2, and then there's a woman,
That
and there
woman
are
is
like
there
other
for a
people.
long time. I don't
And then there's some young
stays,
guy.
Walter stays until the end, so maybe you're not talking about Walter?
Maybe not.
He's got glasses and he's short?
Well, he distinctly has white hair. I don't think he wears glasses, but he's the guy at the computer most time in season 1 who says incoming traveler.
Yeah,
Walter.
Walter's in.
So, but he's not in season 2.
Oh, well, then he comes back.
He definitely
Okay,
comes
he
back.
comes
He's
back.
in until the
Well,
very
that's
end.
nice because I like him.
Yeah, a lot of people love Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's my cell phone ringtone.
Yeah.
My-
And the actor had such fun. I mean, obviously, you have to make it fun because he literally, that was the extent of his role for 10
Right.
seasons.
Oh my
was
God.
Incoming Traveler. Chevron 1 encoded.
Right.
Yep.
Chevron,
Chevron 2 encoded. Like, he had to say that so many times.
Oh my God.
Chevron 7 or
Locked,
locked.
That's my ringtone. Chevron 7, locked.
Yeah, like
This
that
guy,
was.
Norman Walter Davis Harriman. That's
Yes.
that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm glad he comes
So I
back.
don't know why they have him replaced for that brief time, but he definitely comes back and
back,
becomes one of those
okay.
fan favorite characters.
Yeah, well, he was
sure.
instantly one of my favorite characters, so I totally get it.
And I kind of wish they had done a little more with him.
That other lady that sits next to Walter, she's in the show for quite a while. She's got dark hair. I don't think she gets a name.
She usually wears it in a bun.
Yeah, she usually wears it back.
Yeah.
And then I noticed in this season, I hadn't really noticed her before, but there's like an airman that's like a messenger. She's always coming into the general's office, and she's got like a mole on her chin. She's really good. I like her. I'm like, there she is. She's the messenger airman.
Those are actors who, maybe never had starring roles, but like they were able to pay for a living in LA
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
with a job like that.
I cried. I laughed. I cried. So I cried at Cold Lazarus. I cried
yeah.
for Bloodlines.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Okay, Bloodlines. I'm not wild about the actress that plays Dreyok in that episode. And I know that she's like
I
gone
like
on
Sally
to do...
Richardson.
Yeah, I like Sally Richardson. I don't like her portrayal of Dreyok.
And she's replaced.
She is replaced, and that actress is much more the kind of woman that I would imagine Teal'c being with. She's like way more sassy. For whatever reason, I'm like, yeah, Teal'c would like a sassy lady. Singularity, and then what's the one right after that where the Tolan first show up?
Freaking told.
That's 2 episodes in a row where a member of SG1 gives someone an unasked for pet.
Oh, right, I saw that on Twitter. The cat.
So yeah,
Yes.
Jack gives Cassandra a dog, which is an adorable dog, by the way.
Yes, right.
And then Sam's just like, here's Schrodinger the cat.
Yeah, enjoy. But
Yeah.
they also, that was like a romantic.
She needed another boyfriend because the last one died.
Well, I know she never. Does she ever get to hook up?
Not for several seasons.
Not for several seasons, and by then her hair is far longer and they accentuate her body a bit more, so I don't know how you'll
Okay.
feel about that.
I may not feel very good. Thank you for warning
That's
me.
something that Amanda Tapping complained about, was like, how come every time Carter gets a boyfriend, they die?
Yeah.
Let's not have that
And suddenly
happen.
I'm wearing tighter shirts.
Well, I think she wanted, and I think this is a common thing with actresses in general, is to some degree you do want a distinction between you and the guys, especially when you're the only girl, and some femininity is not bad, and I don't think they did it when she was in uniform. I think it's just when we started seeing them outside of the base, that's when it was a bit more obvious that, oh hey, she's a chick. She's got breasts.
Well, I mean, even in the
Because
military
the suits
parts,
definitely don't
No.
accentuate
you know,
that.
they're early on in season 1. You know, oftentimes when she's in her dress blue, she's in a skirt.
She wears the skirt version.
She wears the skirt.
Oh, right,
version,
yeah, absolutely.
right.
Which I kind of like. I'm glad that she wears the
But
skirt
it's still
version.
proper. It's like there's
Yeah,
nothing
Absolutely.
about it that's like,
Totally
oh,
No,
that's
well,
right.
and like I said, I think that's one of the things that I really like about the show in general, at least so far. Apparently,
They
that may
don't
not be true.
defeminize her.
They don't, and whatever femininity she does show is just a natural part of the character and whatever. And you don't really feel like they're doing it. No, she's the woman.
Right,
She's
yeah.
the
And
token
I don't
woman.
think it gets bad.
Much
in
like
the later.
Teal'c is not the token black
Black
guy,
guy.
right? Because
But
of
he
his,
is a slave.
I know.
a former slave.
And like the black
Damn.
guy is the freed
And
slave.
then they make sure to have a bunch of white Jaffa, and you're like, oh, okay, they're all slaves.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
races. They had Asian Jaffa by the end.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, and the guy who
Latino
plays
Jaffa
Apophis looks
is black.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's black.
I didn't know if he
crime.
was. Yeah.
I am black, by the way.
Just in
I'm
case
glad
you're
you said it,
wondering.
so I didn't have to. Say you're black?
Oh my god.
This is a podcast. No one can see anyone. But yes, Apophis. Can we talk about Apophis?
Apophis.
Isn't he kind of adorable in a
He's
weird way?
He's kind of metro and campy, and I did
Yeah.
not. And I knew, like, I remember because when I was involved with the shows, like message boards and stuff, I was always involved with like other viewers who are way older than me, and they all seemed to realize this, and I just didn't get it. And now watching it, I'm like, he totally is.
Oh, yeah, he's
He totally is.
androgynous. Yeah. Well, and if you
Totally.
watch the movie, Raw is way androgynous.
Yeah.
Like, really, yeah. Like, he's very feminine. But, yeah. I used to do
he
my eye
is-
makeup like a puppet.
Awesome. Awesome.
Well, I mean, and he is, of all of the characters, he's the most, I would say, on the edge of
Campiness.
over,
Yes.
over,
and,
you know.
and how he's played too.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to say, if you continue to watch it, my favorite gold is Ball.
Really?
I like Ball, and I think you
What season?
I'm not sure how I feel about Ball.
5. He's such an ass,
Yeah.
but he's like very sexy, and the actor who played him
That's
is
nice.
very.
Oh, so do I get to ask my question now?
Yes,
Ooh.
always.
When does Daniel Jackson cut his hair?
Season 2.
Yep, the end of season 2.
The end of
So
season
says
2.
Wikipedia.
Yeah. Alex
Or
doesn't
Yahoo
like his
Answers.
long, luxurious hair.
I think it adds to his hippie nature.
That's exactly
Yeah.
the kind of geek that I'm totally into.
Blue-eyed, bespectacled, and long hair.
Long hair, although he does look
He
mighty
does
fine
have
with the
with
short
short.
hair. I love how Daniel, for like the first couple of episodes, called Carter Captain Doctor.
Yes. Yes, Captain Doctor. And he
Captain
couldn't
Doctor.
figure out which one he wanted to call her.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many great quotes from this show. As I was watching it, I realized I used to have all of these sound clips on my computer just so I could listen to them whenever I felt like it.
And that was before computers had the capacity they have now, so
Right.
that was very impressive.
All right. What else?
Sorry.
What else?
Whoops, that was hilarious. Do you know what I'm talking about? When he walks in on
Yes.
them kissing,
That's
hilarious.
the exact soundbite. Yes.
Whoops, and the way he says it, I'm like, oh, Daniel, why didn't I like you as much as I do?
Oh, I watched Solitudes earlier today. There's that great line where he's like talking to Teal'c and Hammond, and he says, what happens when you dial your own phone number? And looking at Teal.
He's like,
wrong person to
to
talk
ask.
to. Hammond, what happens when you dial your own phone number? You get a busy signal.
He's so proud of him.
Yeah, he's so excited when he delivers that line.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I would say Tilk and Daniel Jackson are the comic relief. For the
Yes,
most part,
absolutely.
For sure. Or give the most comic relief, whether intentionally or not.
The best kind.
Yes,
Because
the best kind.
Jack
tries
certainly
to be,
delivers
yes.
at every chance he gets. Whether it
which
works
is
or
what
not.
gets a little old.
By the way, Michael Shanks plays a lot of other characters in Stargate, so keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
I'm realizing how little I like season 1. I didn't like season 1 as much as I like others. Season 3 is a really good season. Season 4 is a pretty solid season.
Ew, that is so funny, because as I was watching season 1, I was like, I forgot how awesome season 1 is.
So I did notice in briefly reading that there was one female writer, at least early on, who was really more of an overall editor, but
Catherine
most of
Powers?
the shows are written by guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
most of them are directed by men also. It was a
Does
very
that
male-dominated
change over
show.
time? Or?
I
Not
don't
really.
think so. Which is actually, when you consider how male-dominated the show was, they actually did a very good job of writing realistic female characters.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was happy to find that I was immediately engaged with the characters and that the writing was as good as it was, even with its tendency toward camp and other things.
It's
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I just think I think the pilot is it's not the best pilot out there, but it's a really good pilot. Like,
Well,
it
it's
really...
sure is hell better than the Babylon 5 pilot. As
Is
a
that really a high bar?
comparator.
Yeah, like,
No.
what kind of standard is that for pilots?
Just saying.
Sorry,
Just
Babylon
saying.
5 fans.
Yeah, sorry.
All 32 of you.
Oh, I have to ask.
Yes.
Because this also became a bit of a controversial debate among fans and I think among the writers, is they kind of, in almost every season, they sprinkled some sort of breadcrumbs about Sam and Jack. Did you feel like that was over the top? Or did you
There
were you
are
intrigued
there
by
are
it?
a
What did you
couple
think?
of episodes where it does feel a little where you're like, even in season 1, you're like, oh, I mean, and that's my reaction because I always hate it when characters get together on shows, but where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just going to be the endless torture. They can't be together. They want to be together. Yeah, same old. But then there's enough other stuff. That I lost my worry about it.
Right.
So like in season 2, for example, I would, when Martouf shows up.
J.R. Bourne.
I totally.
He still got it.
I know.
Have you seen him recently? He's
I haven't seen.
adorable.
I would love to see him recently because he sure is hot in the show.
Adorable.
He's even better now.
Yeah,
He's one
really.
of those like wines that ages well.
Ages well. Ooh la la! I must know what he's on so I can look at him. Anyway, so there's enough sprinkling. With Jack, you just assume it's Captain Kirk kind of a thing when he hooks up with some girl or whatever, or there's a suggestion of him hooking up with a girl. But there's enough other interests for Sam that the pressure seemed off by the end.
So
of
you
the
didn't feel
season.
like it was an unrequited thing where she's like pining after him or anything like that?
No.
I never got the impression that they were pining after each other. I know that there are just tons of Sam and Jack shippers out there. I used to be really into Stargate fan fiction. Oh my god, the Sam and Jack shippers.
And I was a Sam and Jack shipper.
And I kind of was too, but I thought that they approached it in a really smart way. Definitely there's like an attraction there. And I think when you've got a man and a woman working together in that close a capacity, there's always going to be the opportunity for them to be attracted to each other. Maybe not necessarily like in love, but like people are chemical beings, and when you spend an entire episode trapped under ice laying on top of your commanding officer, like
Sometimes the sidearm shows up.
Yeah, it's my sidearm, I swear.
Oh.
But you go through something like that with someone,
Sure,
and that's
sure.
an emotional thing, and so, it might get a little bit confusing. But the way that they approached it is very much, he's her commanding officer, it is completely against regulations, and they are both good soldiers. And so they acknowledge that, yeah, it's there, but we're never going to act on it because we can't.
Yeah, I was a hardcore Sam and Jack shipper.
I don't know this expression. You must educate me.
Oh, a shipper
Yeah,
is someone that really wants a certain couple to exist on a show.
And that's a term that like is on all shows.
Shipper is short for relationship.
Oh.
Sam and Jack relationship.
Oh.
And so I was a big, wow, I'm glad we could educate you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no.
Wait, are we going to record that as our new
song?
Educating Geeks.
It's totally gonna stay. No, but yeah, I wanted them to someday get together.
You didn't find Jack annoying enough that you were like, you can do better?
I could totally see why she would be like, yeah, I could totally have sex with him.
Oh, well, yeah, having sex with somebody is not necessarily the same thing as having a relationship.
I like that they were. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be revealing a lot of my fandom.
It's okay.
Weirdness.
We're all geeks here.
But I'm
Megan. I'm a Stargate fan.
I really felt like they had the show gone a certain direction or had things worked out differently where they weren't in the same chain of command. I could see how they would complement each other in a relationship in the terms of like her seriousness and his attempt at frivolity. Oh,
well,
shut
he
up.
doesn't like... Well, and they do have some interests in common. Like, he has the telescope, and he's actually the kind of guy that, like, looks through his telescope, and she's an astrophysicist, so they have some complementary interests. They're both in the military.
I'm going to punch Alice. I'm going to punch her, and it'll be the first punch I've thrown at a non-family member, but it will be warranted.
Yeah, you had no idea what you were getting into.
I did not. I didn't know it was a thing.
I mean, you're like, I know that some people are like this. This is how some people are about Star Trek.
Right.
I realized this rewatching season 1. And not to say that I don't absolutely love Star Trek, because it's a huge part of my childhood. But Stargate was my life.
Well, chances are probably it may have had something to do with what age you were.
Yeah,
it was my engaged
age
with the show.
It was being completely out of the United States and needing something to attach and latch onto.
Sure.
I mean, it was just so many things. Stargate was a coping mechanism for me for a really long time, which I've heard people say about Star Trek for a lot of different reasons. It was a coping mechanism. It was my best friend for years because I was moving around a lot. And so it was my life.
I have to co-sign that, Megan. I have to say, Stargate, I discovered, when I truly discovered it...
I'm learning all these new expressions. I have to co-sign that.
Co-sign.
That sounded really cool.
Was it cool?
Yeah.
Another internet expression. Damn it! Yeah, because it came at a time when, like, it just came at the right time when I was, like, a teenager. I think it must have been, like, 15.
What that would have been for me.
I think I was
Star Trek
12.
I mean, Next Gen was mostly college for me.
Mm.
So yeah, it would have been at the end of your
But you've
college,
also said you've also you're saying that time. I thought you meant what's the equivalent to you.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to think about. Like, what show was on in the 80s that I would have had that kind of.
You said you weren't allowed to watch TV though, right?
Well, by the time my parents got divorced, that changed because we became latchkey kids. So in my what are the really young years? So you're
pre-adolescent, adolescent.
Formative. That's later.
Formative.
In your tween years.
Yeah. So when I was, by the time I was in middle school, we were watching TV and.
Yeah. What was your middle school? Because for me, this hit right in middle school.
I don't remember.
I used to draw the Stargate symbols on my notebooks.
Nice.
Well, because it was so much more limited back then for for sci-fi shows. So it may have been a non-sci-fi show.
Was it the A-Team?
We did watch the A-Team. My mom was in love with MacGyver, which shocked all of us as kids. But she would we all had to sit down and watch MacGyver.
When was Walker, Texas Ranger on? Was that in the 90s?
Yeah.
I found out Matt's grandparents used to watch that show and call him Old Kick'em.
Oh my God.
That was during a simpler time.
Yes.
Walker, Texas Ranger, and Touched by an Angel.
Oh my gosh.
Touched by an Angel. Oh, and
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Yeah.
So it came at a good time, and I just, like Megan, I latched onto it. And I had other things, especially my senior year. I was very, very busy in high school doing different things, theater and newspaper and all this other stuff. But somehow, I always had time for Stargate.
Always had time.
I probably only got 3 hours of sleep a night. Engaged in that. And
writing fanfic.
Yeah, reading fan fiction. I like I said earlier, I engaged with people on message boards, and that's when I actually started going.
I was in a lot of Stargate message boards.
Yeah.
Maybe
you guys knew each other, but didn't know.
We were both on Gate World.
Yeah, we were. And I was on Osgate. Did you play Osgate at all?
Mm-mm.
That was pretty cool.
I only did Gate World. And that was a very robust site in Stargate's prime.
It still is, but it's not the same as it was when it first started.
Yeah, it's kind of... I mean, there was a point where, when Stargate and Stargate Atlantis were going on at the same time, which would have been in the early 2000s, it was a teeming forum of thousands and thousands of people. And actually, one of the co-creators lived or lives in Arizona, in Phoenix.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I think it was Darren.
Was it?
I think I'll have to ask, because you remember the two admins. There's like Darren and there's no...
Yeah.
I might have to, we might have to do some research and maybe get some perspective.
So by the time I get through, season 5, we can do another show.
Yeah, exactly. We can do another
have them on.
Yeah. But yeah, it was an interaction with people from, I got to know people from Australia.
A lot of Australians, lots of
New
British
Zealand.
people. Yes.
I met people
lots
from Britain.
Of Kiwis.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite an international audience.
And I think there were quite a few South American. Of course, I just lumped the whole continent, but
Well, I mean, next to Doctor Who, isn't it one of the longest running or most episodes of any sci-fi show?
Yeah, because SG1 was 10 years. How long was Atlantis? Because I didn't watch that as much. It was
5.
And then Stargate Universe was only 2.
Yeah.
But
Stargate SG1 did get that, and I think their trick in getting the Guinness record was that they were continuous.
Yeah, 10
continuous years.
Well, yeah.
And that was like the condition.
Yeah.
Doctor Who fans still didn't like that. But,
well, of course not.
But yeah.
I don't care. Doctor Who still wins. I mean, you've got a show that's got like 20,000 seasons. So.
It's I think it's in a completely different stratosphere.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, that was Stargate, and it was licensed in hundreds of territories.
Well, I think the few episodes that I ever did watch were like how you saw Xena and Hercules. It would be, I'd be cleaning my house on a Saturday, and I would have on the TV, and it'd be like, oh, the weird guy with the thing on his head and the stick. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Stargate.
Oh, that little emblem.
All right. Drinking game rules, ladies.
Ooh.
So the 2 that I wrote is that you have to take a drink every time someone says Daniel Jackson.
Okay.
But you have to take a shot anytime somebody says just Daniel or just Jackson.
Okay. I think you have to take a shot anytime Sam or Daniel or any scientist says theoretically.
Theoretically.
Anytime Pilk puts on one of his super big frowns.
His super frown.
Oh my gosh,
frown.
Intense.
Super frown.
Intense facial expression.
I am going to frown.
He's very perplexed.
Well, there should be, we have some recurring motifs that they sprinkle into the show. So, take a shot anytime there's a campers reference. Because they use the phrase campers a lot.
Jack does especially.
Sam does it a couple of times too in season 1. Yeah, I was listening for it.
Meaning the Goa'uld or the
No, like
camper?
they'll get to a planet and just be like, "Good morning, campers."
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, or they're not going to be happy campers.
Yep.
I don't remember that at all.
And then you should also take a shot anytime there's a Wizard of Oz reference.
Yes. These are
But I don't know how I haven't noticed these either.
There were tons of them in season 1.
I will.
Yeah, and there's many more of them to come.
Yeah. And those both, I think, can be attributed to Richard Dean Anderson.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Anytime Teal'c says indeed.
Oh, yes.
Anytime Teal'c raises one eyebrow. Anytime.
2 shots if it's both. Because when he raises both eyebrows, shit's gonna get real.
Anytime.
I can't believe you just said that. Shit's gonna get real.
It does.
Oh my God.
He usually does both eyebrows in conjunction with
the big
frown.
Yes.
Super frown.
Super frown. I like it. Because it almost is like it should be spelled SUPAH.
Right, yes, exactly.
Super frown. Anytime Daniel says Jack with that impassioned...
Jack!
And sometimes he does like multiple times, then
anytime Daniel gets upset and starts going, no! No!
That also happens quite a bit.
That's a lot.
His impassioned
when he starts getting hopping mad. Have you ever been hopping mad?
I've never.
I have actually been hopping mad like that only like twice in my life, but that is serious business.
And she's hopping right now, but
I'm like hopping in my chair. Can you hear it?
So, like, you guys are the super geeks. I would assume that there's some drinking game that could be played around the order in which the chevrons are, or the codes.
Well, I mean, you could assign a drink to each symbol, really. There's like the wishbone one. I mean, each of the symbols is a different constellation. So anytime you see your astrology sign, so there's a Gemini one, there's a Scorpius one.
Okay, that's a great rule.
Yeah. If you happen to, they're a little stylized, so you might have to do some internet research. But I certainly saw Scorpius a couple times, which is my sign. So I would have been taking some drinks.
Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with them. I'd have to do some research.
What's the A?
That's just Earth. That's not an actual...
That's Earth.
Yeah.
So I think you should take a shot every time Earth comes up in the
Oh, yeah, every time you see the point of origin.
Yeah.
They'll have to be off-world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have to be off-world for that.
Well, no. Like, you'd be surprised where it shows up. Really? Like, for example, in Solitudes, Daniel, like, points at the map. And there's a tiny little Earth symbol right on the map.
Nice.
And they're kind of sprinkled
all over. Oh, right,
because
he's like, there's one planet we didn't consider.
That one.
That one. I think...
And he draws it a lot.
He does. Oh, yeah, he draws it in the sand, so they know we're friendlies. And then people are always, like, amazed. Like, oh my God!
You're from the Tari!
False gods, I think we should figure out a special drink for false gods. Anytime
gods.
they talk about false gods.
Okay, so clearly, tequila with worms in them would be the drink.
Oh,
yeah.
Right?
You're right. Oh, God.
Either that or we'd have to invent some sort of a drink that could have a jelly worm in it.
Mm-hmm.
But you could put, like, a gummy worm in a martini.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be quite good.
We'll have to do that
one
night.
I think the tequila is better, though, because those worms look more like
actual
gold larvae.
Yeah.
That's why I will be going with the gummy worm. Because those things are nasty.
What other drinking game rules?
So there are tons, and maybe just because of my knowledge of the show, but I feel like I could probably go on and on about the drinking games.
What? Well, I mean, there's the obvious ones. Anytime you see the gate spinning, or anytime the kawoosh. That's the technical term, by the way, kawoosh.
It is Kawoosh,
and that's
exclamation point.
Exclamation point. That's actually the name of the production company that did the special effect. Kawoosh.
Yeah.
Kawoosh.
Yeah.
That's the sound it makes.
Onomatopoeia. It seems like there's almost an episode at least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They probably cut down as they go, but yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Same with the extremely long travel through the wormhole. It's like you're going through a roller coaster.
Yeah, that you wish, like, really...
They cut it, thankfully.
They
do.
They trim it.
Stop.
Because it's a waste of time.
Yeah, it
and
is.
And those first few episodes, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
First of all, it would be way faster than that.
Well, it was really long in the movie, so...
They were trying to hold on to that.
Yeah. I mean, that is absolutely recycled footage. Straight from
which
the movie.
they use.
And which actually, that's another good reason to watch the movie. I think I tweeted about it. In the pilot, in particular, they take so much footage straight out of the movie. I'm talking like the gliders. They just popped them into the Chulak background and used the exact fight scene from the movie. Yeah, did that a lot.
Nice.
Well, we need a General Hammond rule.
What would be a good General Hammond rule?
Godspeed, Colonel.
Does he say it enough? Does he say it a lot?
Not enough. He's got
to
be
a shot rule.
Anytime he's on the red phone.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one. That could be a drink.
Or anytime he mentions the president.
Yes, because he does throw that around quite a bit. Those first couple.
Wouldn't you? Yeah. I was just on the phone with the president, by the way.
P.S.
Yes, we don't have a Carter rule. What's a Carter rule?
Well, there's Technobabble. You could go with Technobabble.
Oh my God, that's every fucking show all the time. We gotta narrow it.
Theoretically.
How about if it's... Oh, yeah, theoretically.
She says it quite a bit.
How about if her Technobabble lasts more than 10 seconds?
Then it'll happen.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's used for exposition quite a bit.
In the pilot episode, her and Daniel Jackson just... Oh my God, I love that scene.
Yeah, nerdgasm.
Oh my God.
Oh,
like he wants him to simplify.
There are many times, and I don't know if it happened again. I might be missing my season 2 with my season 1, but where they get to a planet and either Daniel says, "We're leaving now, but there's so much stuff we can learn from the culture. What are you talking about?"
Yes.
Or they're there and nothing's happening, and Jack is like, "I'm done. We're leaving."
Which is what kind of makes Jack amusing, because, if it were just a team full of Daniel and Sam, that would be...
Yeah, no, you need the
balance.
counterpoint. For
You need
sure.
the guy who's like,
For
dude, this is a
sure.
waste of my time.
Yeah.
And they were
Like
all...
I said, there are times where she's super endearing, and then there are times where like, oh, really? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And it's the line, the delineation between, I believe, back to my earlier point, between character and actor.
Right.
Yeah.
What was written on the page and what is ad-libbed
Yeah.
on set.
Yeah.
It becomes
of
quite
that.
apparent after you watch 100 episodes.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad living.
Well, I'm only coming up on 40. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, no big deal. Most people, it took them 2 years to go through
All
it.
right.
Good job. Not by choice, though. When we were all forced to that one episode a week business, how did we survive?
I don't know.
What did we do?
That's why we were so on the message
Well, I do.
boards.
Yeah.
Mhm,
It's
sure.
interesting.
And
Yeah.
fiction.
Surviving.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Until the next week. The next Friday.
Well, it's definitely a show that I will probably watch them all.
Yay!
Good choice.
I don't think I'll be shipping. No, wait.
Shipping, you can ship.
Shipping.
Shipping is a verb.
I don't think I'll be shipping or writing any fan fiction, however.
I don't
That's
recommend
okay.
it.
Okay. All right.
You have a life to live.
Yeah, fandom is this incredibly interesting, sometimes terrifying aspect of life.
Yes.
so-
the right adjective.
So if you can have some distance, more power to you. And for those of us who did not have distance at a time, we can look back with perspective and realize that it's not really happening.
Damn, I'm really not going to get that job at the SGC.
No.
So sad.
It's okay.
All right. Well, thank you both
So, yeah.
for my fabulous education on SG1. It was so awesome to be in your presence.
Obviously, Cassandra and I would be glad to talk about Stargate anytime.
Yes. In fact, we are assigning season 3 in 2 months. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we got to look back for Fringe though, because I
we do. We have some other
I
stuff
want
we
to
can-
finish
Oh, we
watching
have
that.
tons of stuff to catch up on.
So,
I'm
yeah.
glad you did it. I'm glad you liked it.
So, this has been Geek Host Alice.
Cassie?
And Megan.
We look forward to having you join us next time.
Thanks for
Later.
listening.